Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be solving Leetcode 15 threesome. Feel free to pause the video just to read through what the problem is asking for, but I find the examples more descriptive, so I'm going to explain with this. So given an input array norms like this, okay, we want to return three numbers that add up to 0. In this case, when we're given this, we have these two sets. These are the only two unique sets of three numbers that add up to 0. So let's go get our hands dirty and start coding. So the first step, okay, for anyone who sees this problem, I'll advise you to go ahead and solve 2-sum and solve 2-sum 2. If you solve mostly 2-sum 2, you're gonna kind of have an idea of how to solve it. So first I'm gonna create a variable called result. It's an empty list. It's gonna keep track of the results of my final answer. Okay, so next I'm gonna sort this array. Okay, and if you've solved 2-sum 2, you're gonna understand why I'm sorting this array. So I'm sorting him in place. So that way we have all these elements coming in ascending order from lowest to highest. Then once we're done sorting him, okay, I want to iterate through him with a regular for loop for I num in enumerate. Okay, it's just iterating through each item. Since we have him sorted, okay, for example in this case, once we sort him, okay, he's gonna look like something like -4 is going to come first, -1 is going to come second, -1 is going to come again, this and this. So if there's two -1s back to back, okay, if the first number is -1, okay, on this outer for loop we don't want to pick up -1 again, because once we have -1 as the first item, we most likely find every other item that starts with -1, and you see what I mean in a second, in case you're having trouble wrapping your head around this. So I'm going to say if I is greater than 0, okay, meaning we're not on the first item in this array while looping. We're not on the first item, we're on the second or any item after the first. If I greater than 0 and okay, num, which is the number we're currently on, is equal nums of I minus 1, meaning the number we're on was equal to the number we just passed in this for loop, outside of this, in this for loop. So once we sort this array, okay, I'll show you guys what it looks like. So if this is the case, we want to continue. Okay, meaning we want to just move on to the next iteration. And at this point, since we have one element, whichever element he is in this for loop, this problem just becomes a 2-sum problem, because we already have one. We want to find the next two that all three add up to 0. So technically, if it's the first iteration of the loop on -1, we want to find two other numbers that add up to +1, because -1 plus +1 equals 0. Does that kind of make sense? Okay, we have -1, we want to find two numbers that add up to +1, so all three of them add up to 0. L and R, okay, and they equal. Okay, since we have the first number in this for loop, we're gonna say L equals I plus 1, okay, and R, just like a regular binary search, equals to the length of nums. Okay, we want to point to the last guy, so length of nums minus 1. Okay, so now we have this again, while L is less than right. Okay, it's like a simple binary search. What do we want to do? Let's create a variable called threesome. And we're gonna set him equal to, okay, he's gonna be equal to num, which is the first number we have, okay, plus nums of the left pointer plus nums of the right pointer. Okay, now we have this. So now we want to do an if check. We want to say if threesome, okay, we want threesome to be equal to 0. Ideally, that's when we get our values. If threesome is greater than 0, what do we want to do? Oh, it's greater than 0. What does it mean when it's greater than 0? It means the sum is too big, so we need to reduce it. So if we have our left and our right pointer of a sorted array, okay, in this case, something like this. Once we sort it, it's gonna look something like this. Okay, we're gonna have -4, -1, -1, 0, 1, 2. Okay, something like this. Okay, so our for loop grabs this guy in the first iteration. Then our left pointer is here and our right pointer is here. So now our threesome variable is just going to be the sum of this guy. So I'll say this guy is none. It's going to be threesome is just equal to none, which is 4, minus 1 plus 2 again. If it's too high, if this threesome is too big, if the value is too big, what's the way to reduce him since this array is sorted? The way to reduce him is by moving the right pointer inward. Okay, this will be our new right pointer, this will be our left pointer, and we keep doing that. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So we're just gonna say r minus equals 1. That moves him inwards. Okay, if is too small. Okay, too small meaning he's less than 0. Okay, in the case where he's less than 0, we want to move the left pointer. Okay, we move the left pointer. Now else case means he's equal. Okay, they're equal. Now we want to append to our result. It means those three numbers sum up to 0. Okay, now we want to append them to as a list. Okay, which is num. Num is the first number. Okay, the next number is nums of L, and then the next number is nums of right. Okay, we append it to our result. Okay, and then we want to increment, but in this case we'll choose to increment L because we're iterating from left to right with our for loop. Okay, also once we increment L, if we encounter a number we've seen before, we have to check for it, and this is how we do. We're going to use a while loop to check for it. Okay, while num of L, okay, equal nums. Okay, we're just checking, have we seen this number before while using our pointers? And also we want to make sure we don't exceed R, we don't go past R. So we're gonna say add an AND case to this. Okay, as long as this is true, that is it. Okay, as long as this is true, what do we want to do? Okay, we want to keep incrementing our left pointer. Okay, just so we never reach duplicate. Once we're done with this loop, we should have all three of our numbers, and now we can return our result. I believe this is correct if I didn't make any stupid mistakes. Okay, accepted. Let's go ahead and submit and see what happens. Boom, that's it. We're faster than 80%, so this is pretty good. And again, we're going to take this one step further. As always, just to visualize the code, this is the exact same problem. I just created a driver code with the example we were given in Leetcode just so we can visualize it. Okay, so we start running. Okay, we declare our function. Okay, this is our global scope. We declare a function first. Okay, right here, and we define nums, which is our input. Okay, nums is our input. Okay, and then what do we do next? Okay, we call the function. Okay, I'm passing nums. So nums is this. Okay, first step is to create an empty list results to save our results in, and then we're gonna sort him in place. Okay, we're gonna sort. It's sorted now. I'll go back. At this point it wasn't sorted. Now we sort him in place without creating a new variable. So now we're iterating through it. Okay, I equals 0, num first one equals 4. Okay, so first is a if check. If I is not 0, okay, obviously if I is greater than 0, obviously I is greater than 0, so we're gonna skip this if. We're not gonna go through it. Okay, we're gonna create our left and right pointers. Okay, so since our for loop is on this guy index 0, our left pointer is here looking at this guy, our right pointer is looking at this guy. So we want to say sum all of them. So threesome, we're gonna create a threesome variable. Threesome right now, because 4 plus -1 plus 2 is -3. Is this greater than 0? No, it's not greater than 0. So we're going to skip this first if statement and go to the else statement because it's less than 0. To the else statement, I mean. Okay. In the else, we're going to have to increment our left pointer. Okay. To make him. Okay. We increment our left pointer. Our left pointer is now here. Our right pointer is still here. Okay. So now we're going to check it again and say we're going to check our while loop again. So let's see what that does. Okay. Threesome has been updated, right? He's still -3. Okay, is that greater than 0? No, it's still less than 0. So we're gonna move our left pointer one more time. Okay, boom. Now our left pointer is 3, right pointer is 5. So our for loop is still on here, our left pointer is on here, our right pointer is on here. So 3 sum is just going to be -4 plus 0 plus 2 is just going to be -2. Okay, 3 sum is -2. So now is -2 greater than 0? No, it's still less. So we're going to move our left pointer one more time. So bam, our left pointer is at 4 now. Okay, now we're here. Okay, 1 plus 2 is 3. This is plus this is -1. Okay, so it's still greater. Okay, so it's still less than 0. So we're gonna go in here and move our left pointer one more time. Okay, but remember the loop says our left pointer can never be, it should always be less than our right pointer. It can be equal. So we're just gonna bounce out of the loop. I'm just gonna fast forward it to where we have a 3 sum that actually gives us 0. Okay, good. So now we have our first 3 sum that gives us 0. Okay, and this came from num equals -1. Okay, so this guy, a left pointer on 2, this guy, a right pointer on 5, this guy. So literally that's -1 plus -1 plus 2, which is 0. Okay, so now we're gonna append into our result next. Okay, bam. So our results, the first element in our result are those numbers we just spoke of. Okay, so I'll do the same again till we reach our next 0, our next 0 sum. Okay, bam, we're back at another set that gives us 0, and in this set num is -1. Okay, so this guy, L is 3, this guy, R is 4, this guy. So this gives us 2, and based on the problem, this is the only 2 sets that gives us 0. Okay, that's it for the problem, guys. I hope this was helpful for you guys to visualize the problem, and I'll see you in the next one.